BTS has long been known as a group that not only dominates the music industry, but also has a very close relationship between its members. However, recently a shocking event occurred that changed everything. Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, made a confession that not only shocked Jimin, his best friend, but also the entire army around the world. What really happened behind the scenes? Why did Jungkook's simple words make Jimin cry? And why did ARMY feel disappointed? These questions shook the fandom, which had always been a witness to the loyalty and closeness of BTS members. On what seemed like an ordinary night in the military barracks, Jungkook made an unexpected decision. He took a small acoustic guitar from his locker, something that was not planned as a solo project, and began singing a song that had never been released. The soft melody seemed to envelop the quiet night, but its lyrics were so deep, reflecting a feeling so personal. If my night loses your whispers, can I still walk tomorrow? That was the end of the song, and silence filled the room. However, what was even more shocking were the words that came from Jungkook's mouth afterward. "Thank you for coming back to a place like this. But if I could choose, I would rather remain a soldier with you forever than return to a world without you." These words pierced Jimin's heart. Of course, it wasn't just Jimin who was touched, but also the other soldiers and even the officers present that night, who were emotionally moved. The once enthusiastic mood shifted into a sea of sadness. And when the audio recording of the incident leaked, the outside world, especially ARMY, was shocked by the deep feelings reflected in Jungkook's confession. What did he really feel? Why did these words come from someone who had always seemed unshakable? An internal source from the military revealed that before Jungkook enlisted for mandatory military service, he turned down several enticing international collaboration offers, also declined interviews, and tried to step back from the media spotlight. These decisions further fueled speculation that Jungkook felt pressured by his life always being under public scrutiny. Is this a sign that Jungkook is considering stepping away from the entertainment world, which has always given him so much attention? So many questions arose, and one of them is whether we will witness Jungkook stepping away from the world that made his name. Even more surprising, a few days after the incident, Jimin wrote a very emotional letter and posted it on Weverse, a platform where BTS interacts with their fans. That night, I was not Park Jimin the soldier. I was just Park Jimin who had lost his way. Jungkook is the reason I wake up every morning. If one day he walks farther away from me, please stay with him for me. This letter touched the hearts of many fans worldwide, sparking reactions from Brazil, Japan, to Indonesia. Many fans felt moved and sad, but there were also those who began to question the meaning behind every word written in the letter. Was this truly a sincere expression of Jimin's heart, or was there another purpose behind his words? In the days following the incident, reports surfaced revealing that Bang PD, the founder of HYB, the company that manages BTS, had secretly visited the 5th Division where Jungkook and Jimin were stationed. This closed-door meeting, which lasted for 2 hours, was never publicly announced. Some speculated that the meeting was about Jungkook's future in the entertainment industry. Is this a sign that there will be a significant change in Jungkook's career after his mandatory military service ends? Why has the agency chosen to remain silent about this, while the public has already begun creating their own narrative? Shortly after the incident, discussions within ARMY became very intense. Some of them chose to remain optimistic, believing that this was just an emotional outburst that would quickly pass. However, the majority felt concerned. Many believed that this incident was not just a passing emotional moment. It opened up the possibility that Jungkook might not return in the same way after his military service. Will we see a more reserved Jungkook, far from the public eye? Or is this just part of a larger emotional journey? However, amidst all the commotion, there is one thing that needs to be noted. The truth behind this incident is still very unclear. The information circulating comes only from unofficial audio clips, an unconfirmed handwritten letter from Jimin, and speculations from various sources. Until now, HYB, the agency managing BTS has not issued an official statement about the incident. This raises many unanswered questions. Are we truly seeing the emotional honesty of Jungkook and Jimin, or is all of this part of a strategy to keep fan engagement up during the mandatory military service? There's one big question that is beginning to echo around the world. Do we, as fans, really know what's happening behind the scenes? Are our emotions, so deep and sincere, actually being manipulated by a narrative that has been carefully crafted? In a world where information spreads quickly and easily, it's important for us to question everything we consume. Let's not let our feelings obscure our ability to think critically. Until now, we can only wait and hope that all the confusion will be revealed. ARMY, like many other K-pop fans, relies heavily on the emotional narrative built by their idols. But we must ask, are we ready to accept the harsher reality if the truth we've been hoping for does not align with what happens? This event reminds us that although love for idols is important, we must maintain our intelligence and not blindly trust narratives that have yet to be proven. The commotion generated by the emotional event between Jungkook and Jimin of BTS is undeniable. The incident shocked not only the BTS members, but also ARMY worldwide. However, we must ask, did this touching event really happen as reported? Or is it just part of a larger narrative carefully constructed to attract media attention and strengthen fan engagement during this challenging period? Our feelings as fans are often swept away by the current of emotion, especially when it concerns the idols we love. However, in a world full of information coming from various directions, we must be careful. This event is indeed very dramatic and can move many people. However, are we ready to accept that not all information circulating out there is unquestionable fact? Once again, let's look at the bigger picture. Do we really know what happens behind the scenes? In this case, we only have information coming from unofficial audio clips, a handwritten letter posted on an online platform, and rumors circulating on social media. Of course, all of this triggers very strong emotions, but let's think. Is this all truly pure emotion, untainted by any other intentions, or is there something larger we are facing? In today's digital era, information spreads very quickly, and it's very easy for anyone to create a narrative that seems very convincing, only to find out that it's a result of deliberate manipulation. Have we ever asked ourselves if we are too easily influenced by what we see on social media without truly questioning its truth? If we feel strong emotions every time a news story shakes the K-pop world, does that mean it's true? Or are we being influenced by an emotional delivery? Remember, the information we receive comes from very open platforms that are not always verified for accuracy. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and other social media platforms are the main sources of many circulating news. But how can we ensure that the information we read comes from trustworthy sources? Are we so quick to believe a story just because it matches what we want to hear or feel? How can we know if this story is part of a bigger strategy to maintain fan engagement during BTS's military service? Critical thinking is extremely important in facing this situation. As consumers of information, we have a responsibility not to simply accept whatever is given to us. We must question every piece of news that comes our way, even the ones that seem very emotional or touching. Are we just following the narrative we want? Or are we genuinely searching for the truth behind the information? Skepticism, in this case, is not a form of hatred or distrust, but rather a form of healthy vigilance against information that has not been proven true. Remember that the entertainment industry, especially K-pop, is very skilled at managing their image and narrative. Why are we so easily accepting a narrative that aligns with our emotional expectations without first questioning its authenticity?